Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you, and this one is an update to the I found out my friend's husband is cheating on her, but she still believes his lies. And this one created a ton of discussion because I remember whenever I read the original story, if I was in this situation and my friend was being cheated on and we proved that he or she was being cheated on and they were immediately like, no, I don't believe you, I disown you. But only did that with a partner there, I'd be like, okay, there's some control going on here, and I feel like I can't leave my friend in that situation. But the overwhelming feedback was step back, let it play out, get out of their business. I'm like, man, that would be so difficult. Let's see what happens here. All right. I checked my email after a long weekend and found a ton of Reddit messages. People were asking for an update and sending me a link to a TikTok post from a guy who reads stories. Was it me? Was it me? Was it me? A lot has happened since I originally posted, and I'm going to do my best to give you a short version and also answer questions I saw in the comments. Answers. Why not show her the location details on the images? Obviously, I did. I showed her all of the details, the location, the timestamp, everything. That was my first stop after I left her house. She saw the screenshots of the details but never responded. Why didn't you FaceTime her? It's 2023. Yeah, I understand, but I've also never spied on anyone. I was nervous, I felt ridiculous, and I just wanted to get out of there. I assumed the pictures would be enough. I didn't FaceTime her because I honestly just didn't think of it. Now to the update. After I posted here and talked to my boyfriend, I decided to give my friend space. Damn it. I mean, maybe that's the safe thing to do, but damn it. We went the longest we had ever gone without talking to each other. 6 days. I hated every second of it, but I felt like it was the best move. Well, she eventually reached out and asked if I could come to her house. Of course, I went immediately. When I got there, I saw my friend, but she didn't look like my friend. She looked like a shell of her former self. We hugged and she told me exactly what was happening. Her husband is apparently the king of emotional manipulation. When I went to her house after work, she knew that I was telling the truth and she was pretending to believe her husband because his initial reaction to the cheating accusations scared her. I was right! Called it. I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn or nothing, but called it. I guess there was a lot about the relationship that I didn't know. He has actually cheated before and Claire discovered it, but he repeatedly told her how much he loved her and how no one can ever love you like I love you, baby. I mean, I know that's like the least red flag thing of this whole story, but I'm red flagging it. No one else would want her if she left him because she would be divorced and disgusting. After going through her parents' divorce, she wanted to make her marriage work and ultimately decided to forgive him. I knew none of this, and it makes me incredibly sad for my friend. How did I not see this happening? I just never saw it. They always seemed so happy. She always told me everything, and I never had any reason to suspect that she wouldn't. He spent the first 2 years of their relationship madly in love with her, but about 6 months after they were married, the emotional manipulation started. Her outfits weren't classy enough for his office, so he didn't want her to attend his work events anymore. She needed to make sure her hair stayed a certain length for her to be desirable to him. If she spent too much time with me, he would ignore her for days. He would purposely tell her how much he found other women attractive. There's more, but he is basically a disgusting waste of space. He never threatened to hit her and never physically harmed her, but the emotional damage he inflicted on my friend is going to be hard for her to overcome. For those 6 days, she pretended to believe him. She played her part well enough. Then he was officially out of town for business the next 4 days. As soon as his plane was in the air, Claire reached out to me. I helped her pack what we could fit into our vehicle. I held her hand as she contacted her attorney and started the divorce process, which she did from my phone because at that point I had no idea what her husband was monitoring. We moved Claire into the guest room at my house. Her brother came over later that night and I helped her tell him everything. When her soon-to-be ex-husband came back and saw that she was gone and the note that Claire left with her attorney's information, of course, he came straight to my house. He yelled outside, pounded on the door, and demanded to talk to his wife. My boyfriend told him that Claire did not want to speak with him and asked him to leave. He wouldn't, so yes, the cops were called. They took statements and escorted him off of our property. He came back again the next day, and we immediately called the cops, and they were not nice the second time. Since then, everything has calmed down and he hasn't returned. He is, of course, smearing her reputation to all of their mutual friends. It bothers Claire, but I feel if they truly knew her, they wouldn't believe his word over hers. Their attorneys are officially communicating, and hopefully the divorce doesn't take long. Claire seems better now that she is out of this situation, but I don't think she'll ever forget the way she was treated by him. Thank you for providing feedback and advice. Truly, I'm not sure if I'll update again, but if I do, hopefully it's to tell you that they are officially divorced. dude. Yeah, so glad we got this update because this one has been haunting me for a while. And Candy Thunder and I would discuss this too and be like, after my feedback where I'm like, I couldn't let it sit. Like if I knew, and by the reaction, as a reminder, or if you didn't hear the story the first time, after the friend came with proof, the wife believed her. Her bestie believed her. And then she came back again because she couldn't get a hold of her friend. Her friend wasn't answering anything, and the husband was there standing with her. And that's when she said that she didn't believe her and to get the hell out and to not call her anymore and that kind of stuff. So she would only have this united front when her husband was standing right there. And that felt like complete manipulation. And that just raised the alarm bell for me even higher. And I would be like, as a friend, I wouldn't be able to let that lie. I'd be like, they need me even more now. I understand my meddling, it increases the danger of the situation, but I feel like I just couldn't leave someone in that situation. So she gave her space, and I'm happy for that. But I'm glad her bestie reached out and they actually were able to move this ball forward because it was exactly what we thought was happening here. Bringing her to your house, OP, my first thought there was, I don't know if that's a smart decision because that is the first place he's going to go. But with your boyfriend there, at least you had some kind of additional protection in place. He was pounding on the door. He was trying to get inside. Obviously, that's a scary situation. Glad you called the cops. Glad the cops showed up a second time too and were not nice about it. There's probably going to be some kind of protection order in place, but he hasn't done anything. I don't know. But I know that this is going to take a long time for her to heal. And I know he's probably not done trying to control her. So I would just say, keep her close and make sure that she's openly communicating everything with you because she wasn't before. And it is vital moving forward that she is completely open with you because he's going to worm his way back in somehow and try to be the puppeteer again. This is making my eye twitch. I can feel it. It's a scary situation. She had to be with someone. I'm not saying leave her alone at all. No. She had to be with people, but being at the friend's house was like, that's first stop. But as long as they had some kind of protection there and they had a way to prevent him from getting to her, then cool. But I just knew it was going to be his first stop. Like, what's the first place he's going to look at? Course. This was a true off my chest, but I found out my best friend's husband is cheating on her, but she still believes his lies. And you know what, OP for being there and ultimately, giving her friend space, but not so much space that she couldn't reach out and get the ball moving on this whole thing is huge. So being that person and for all of you that have been that person for someone else that's there to help get them out of those situations, like it's huge. It's a huge deal. And there's so many people in chat right now. Like, took me 17 years to leave, took me 10 years to leave, took me 5 times. Wow. It's too common. This is way too freaking common. And for me, I think the big takeaway from this is be that person. Be that person who is abundantly clear to someone, to your bestie or your friend who you think might be in this situation, that they can be completely open with you, that if they're in a tight spot, they always have a place to stay, a safe place to stay, and that you will help them whenever it's time to get